Hello everyone, Dimitri again, and today I want to talk about a topic that one of the biggest secrets that have not been discussed. Today I want to being open about it. So what made me kind of talk about this topic is I've been recently offered a job of support men who actually are immigrants that came to New Zealand, and they kind of in the brink of divorce or separation from their partners. And what my job that I was offered, that I'm going to support this man through the process of separation, support them through the legal pathway, and so on. And of course, because my main skill is mental health and therapy, so that will be kind of my main support, that area. But the point of that is, when people are immigrating to New Zealand, they're not aware that whatever their relationship status is, what is happening inside the relationship, when they move in from one country to another, their power dynamics in the relationship changes. So what do I mean by that? So let's say a family from the Arabic countries, like let's say from Syria, coming to New Zealand. You know, like a lot of the time, like in Islam, that women have a little bit less power in the relationships, and a lot of the time, if the relationship is not really stable and the woman actually not really happy in the relationship, but she kind of need to compromise a lot, while the couple is in Syria, that's going to work. But when they come into New Zealand, a lot of the time the couple is not aware that the power dynamics is already changed. So the man has a lot of more power influence in Syria, but when he came to New Zealand or any other Western countries, specifically like UK or US or Australia, his power as a man in a relationship already got way weaker than 50-50%. It's way less than that. And a lot of the time also the women don't really know in the beginning that she has this power, that she doesn't have to compromise a lot and suffer in the relationship, and she can just divorce. It will be way easier. So like in Russia, if a woman kind of leaves with a man that is not the best for her, if she'll be in Russia, she probably, if she's not kind of financially successful and independent and live in the regions or whatever it is, she probably won't leave, and she will compromise and stay with the man, because it will be really hard for her to raise the children on their own. And also the court system is a bit less in favor, like it's like the court system works differently, so it will be harder for a woman to get her rights, for example, in Russian countries. So that's why a lot of women understand where they kind of stand, and a lot of the time, well, probably it's not worth to go for the divorce or whatever. But that's the thing, when it comes to when they move into New Zealand, it's different. So when you come into New Zealand, and mostly the Western countries, something the men need to understand, that if your relationship is not at best, your power in the relationship, your influence will get weaker, because for a woman here it's way easier to get out of the relationship and find someone else, and the law is kind of more in favor of women. And it's also same kind of in Israel as well, that, but for example in Israel, if you kind of under like the Orthodox and Jewish laws, the opposite is true, like you probably have less power. But if you kind of secular, again it goes like 50-50, and again it's more towards the woman. So what's happening is, of course, because the state influence, that like it's not like already a relationship between the man and the woman, the relationship already becomes three parties: woman, the man, of course the kids, whatever it is, and the state. So there are four parties involved. So in some countries the state intervenes less. For example, if you live in Dubai, just give you an example, if you are a man and you married in Dubai, your wife can't divorce you if you don't give permission. What I mean by that, it means like if she wants divorce, she needs to have your permission. She still can divorce if she wants to, but she won't receive any half or of whatever you earn together or whatever. She won't receive anything. So what you can see, the power is more on the man's side. So that was, for me, it was important for me to illustrate this point. So when you immigrate into Western country, for women it will be a massive advantage in their relationship or their kind of value in the dating market compared to if they were living in a country which is not Western. So there it's more male dominant place. That means is that if your relationship is really good, so you probably have less what to worry about. If you are a single man, what you need to know that when you come to New Zealand by yourself, it will be way harder for you in the dating scene, especially if you're coming from Middle East or the Russian countries. It will be way harder for you to find a relationship compared if you've been in a place that first of all, remember that when you in your base country, if it's not a Western country, most of the odds the power dynamics will be that you as a man will have more power and influence in the relationship than the woman. So the woman less likely to divorce you if things are going bad. She'll have less initiatives. But if you're moving to a country like New Zealand, your power will grow less only because you moved. Here it's more 50-50 society, but in the matter of fact is it's way, you will have less than 50%. You will have maybe 35. Here in New Zealand, when a woman gets a divorce, first of all, she can get on a benefit. She doesn't have to work. And if she have kids, most of the odds, you will need to pay for the kids, and also the government will pay benefit for the mothers to support the kids, and most of the odds you will be restricted from seeing the kids as a man. So that means the laws are really not on your side. So that means, where is the 50-50? Definitely not 50-50. But let's say the divorce is happening in Syria or Russia. It will be way harder for the woman to get this kind of benefits. And sometimes the woman doesn't have the funds to get the lawyers to support her through the process. So a lot of women give up. And they prefer kind of to suffer in the relationships. But here, they have a lot of privileges that, why suffer? We can divorce. So of course, it's better that relationship will kind of be the best and honest and will work out. But a lot of the time, one of the partners, when you're recognizing this power, they might abuse this power. But naturally, when the woman recognizes it and the man doesn't, she will probably be more open to infidelity, disrespect the man, and also divorce. And this is what is happening in Western countries. That's something you as men, you need to know, you need to be aware of when you immigrate into a new country. And saying, wow, the bigger salary or the lifestyle, but you please remember that your power dynamics in the relationship will change. You must be aware of that. That's one of the reasons, like for example, immigration in New Zealand require proof that your relationship is very stable and long term in order to get visas, because they know that some women or partners can abuse the powers. You know, and a lot of women actually, when they recognize the power, they actually doing that. So another thing is like the dating scene. You as a Western man, it will be way harder for you to find a new relationship. But for women it will be way easier. But also a lot of the time they won't even need or will want long-term relationship, because most of the women needs in the Western countries are being met without the men, because the country or Ministry of Social Development supports these women enough. They receive money and support, sometimes even houses, to live their life. So financially they don't need the men. They can even don't have to work. They can focus just on themselves and the kids, which is a great privilege for a woman. But it's a big initiative to divorce if things are going bad. So it will be, sometimes they won't want to work on the things in the relationship, and it's easier just to divorce. Why to bother, you know? Another thing that might change, that because the women will feel that they have more power, their demand list or expectation list will grow. It might not happen, but that's what I see a lot of the time happening, that the expectation list grows way higher. And if this list is not being kind of respected and met, also it will kind of incline towards divorce. So that's something that you need to be aware of.